Something else that was really helpful when writing Miss E was personal experiences. If you think about a lot of the writing that you do in school, a lot of it is probably based on personal experience, and that makes sense. It's something you're writing about, something that you know, something that you're familiar with, and I think that sort of writing comes very easily because we were there. We know what it was like. You probably had a teacher that asked you to write about what you did over the summer, something like that, and you rode that roller coaster, or you went to the pool or the beach. So it's easy to write about those things because we know what it was like, and we know how it felt and what we were thinking. So some of Miss E is definitely based on personal experience, and there's some simple things like the main character being a high school student. Well, I went to high school. I know what it's like to go to a high school, or I taught middle school, so I know what it's like to have students leave the room when the bell rings and have students change classes and that sort of thing. So that's personal experience. It's not something that I need to research. I just know what it's like. So one personal experience that came in really handy when I was writing Miss E was that when I was growing up, my father had an airplane. He wasn't a pilot. It wasn't his job. He did it. He did it for fun. So a lot of times on the weekends, he would go flying, and he would take us with him. So I was one of 6 kids, and it was a small airplane. There were just 4 seats in it, and my father had to sit in one. So even just going with him was kind of a treat because there wasn't always room to go. But what was really special is if you got to sit up front. So I don't know. I assume all airplanes are like this, but there's 2 sets of controls. It's not like a car where you can just pull over and switch drivers when you want. So there are 2 sets of controls, and that way 2 different people are able to fly the plane. And in his airplane, there were pedals on the floor for working the rudder, and there was a yoke, like a steering wheel, that would turn it left and right and pull it back to go up or push it forward to go down. And if I got to sit in the front next to him, I would be able to rest my feet on the rudder pedals and hold the yoke. And every once in a while, he would take his hands off. And then I knew that I was flying the plane. And it was pretty good at going straight. It could go in a straight line without me doing anything. But then he would coach me, and he would say, "Okay, push your left foot in, turn to the left," and the plane would go to the left. And then, okay, bring it back, straighten it out, and we straighten it out. And sometimes I go too far. But that was a lot of fun, and I realize now what was a really unique experience to have that growing up. To first of all, to be able to fly, but then also to be able to actually control the plane. So there's a scene in Miss E where Bets is with Miss E, and Miss E convinces her to go flying. She's not sure at first, she's kind of nervous, but she trusts Miss E and gets in this old kind of rickety plane. It's an old plane, like it's an open cockpit, one seat in front of the other, like an old biplane. And it doesn't look very reliable, but Miss E convinces her to get in it. And that's a scene that I was able to write through personal experience. I could have researched it. I could have looked up, what is it like to fly in a plane? What does it feel like? How do you control it? I could have researched all those things, but it was much easier to write that scene because I had that personal experience, and I knew how I felt when I did those things, and I could transfer those feelings into the character of Bets.